Disclaimer. We are two regular guys who love to talk Bone Thugs and Harmony. We do not represent Bone Thugs or any Bone affiliate. We are also not Bone Thugs experts. The views and information you hear in this podcast may be based on personal opinion. Please feel free to leave corrections and clarifying information in the comments. And enjoy.
Do you ever see like the albums on Spotify and Google Play? And I mean, there's some albums you're like, what? Who even did this? And there's like people
I don't think it's
repackaging the
Bone.
gift. Yeah, but,
I don't think it's
thinks they
Bone
could do
Thugs
that?
remaking. I think it's these shitty labels that are getting the rights to certain things, and I want to hope it's the labels getting the rights to these, and making these shitty greatest hit CDs that we already have. But I kind of doubt it's Bone themselves doing that.
On like the collecting tip, this is pretty much the realest question I wanted to ask, was I wanted to know what were the life experiences you had that gave you the capability and mindset to categorize the way you do, because not everybody thinks on this kind of a level to take such a big project and then break it down into modules and whatnot. I mean, did you ever like work for an auction company, or were you ever like a librarian aide? Like where can you pinpoint where these skills developed in your life?
We used to have a studio. We called it Game Tight Records, and I started making music probably when I was 10, and started recording in my mom's basement. Like I made beats, did mastering and all that, and from there, when we first got a computer, we won it. I remember I just fell in love with the computer, and then from there I started like making little wrestling websites and stuff for my favorite wrestlers and stuff, and then that's pretty much where coding all began for me. And then one day last year, I think it was May or something like that, it just hit me. Like I was looking up, I think for the old Tupac websites where when I was a kid, there was Tupac websites, everything, like the old, just like Bone had websites. And
Yeah.
I went on a search and I couldn't find anything for Bone. I couldn't find anything for Tupac. And I ran across the loyal Bone fans. I mean, I'd known about that, but it just gave me the idea to go ahead and make the ultimate hip hop website or something like that. I just wanted to be better than DiscoGeez.com, pretty much.
Yeah, and I remember, like, there were some great, like, even when you were saying Tupac, I was like, wow. I remember in the days of, like, hitemup.com was, like, the fucking resource for Tupac. Like, the hitemup.com was so good, and there were Bone websites like that as well. And we were talking, me and John, that the website has kind of become the CD of the internet, and it's phasing out. Like, people don't really give a shit about a website, because you can just go to the Facebook or the Instagram. You see, even like BT&H Board, they have their whole, they have a whole Facebook group, and there's members of the Facebook group that aren't even on the forum. So that's kind of become the MP3 of the internet. And I miss the days of the website, because you don't get that same thing. You don't get that personal feeling like you would get from hitemup.com, or like I remember SCT Zone was a great Bone website in the day. You can't get that feeling from a Facebook page.
No, yeah, that's the truth.
When let me ask you, when did you start listening to like Bone Thugs? And like, were you an instant fan, or was it like, did it click later on, or like, how did that happen?
Man, I was in 6th grade, and my friend Marco in science class was before that. I had just got into 6th grade, and he was in there playing The Art of War, and man, he let me hear it, and that was pretty much my first time listening to rap music, I believe. Probably, besides like small things here and there, but that I fell in love with it like the moment I heard it. And by the end of the day, he went to his locker and gave me the collection volume 1, and without the cover and all that. It was just the VHS. Man, I took that home and I watched it, and I was like hooked all over again from like 8 hours ago. I just fell in love with the music, the heart, like how they harmonized it. They were doing something to me that I hadn't heard anywhere else, or I wasn't a big fan of like Do or Die or Twister and shit like that. So Bone just was the complete package for me when I heard them. It was
Do you
instant
feel
love.
when you just brought up Do or Die and Twista and shit? Do you feel, you know, as Bone fans, we always say, hey, Bone are the originators. I think Do or Die fans will tell you they're the originators. You know, we've seen 3-6 Mafia kind of humble up and give it to Bone. Do you feel like any Bone fan, like they are the originators? They started this, or do you kind of feel like we should be giving homage to Do or Die and Twista and them for helping start that Midwest chopper shit up?
I think there was a lot of. I think there was a few people before Bone that even did it, but they didn't do it with the harmony and like Do or Die. And Bone did it, but I would personally, I feel that like that's more of a Bone thing that kind of took over. Because I'm not really sure when Do or Die hit the scene, but Bone was what 93 or so, I believe.
Anyway.
Yeah, 93, 94.
Yeah, I think they hit the radio with it and really went hard with it before Do or Die did. Because I was listening, I know I heard Bone songs before I heard Do or Die songs on the radio.
Yeah. They got to be the most commercially successful to do it, no doubt. I mean, even past 3-6 or even, Twist is a beast and a legend. Out of everybody that we named, I mean, you would have to say Bone and Twista and 3-6 Mafia are also legendary status, but Bone is, next level for it. They still very relevant
to this day.
Yeah, I mean, is Twista as relevant as Bone Thugs and Harmony in 2018?
Yeah, I don't think so. But I don't even think Twista does the harmony, just like Bone did it. Yeah, I don't think he ever did.
Who would you say the most successful clone is? I mean, would you say Nelly is the most successful Bone clone, or?
See, Nelly wasn't even on my page there. Nelly, I view Nelly as more of a down south rap kind of. Laid back kind of down south rap rather than say like a Bone style.
Well, like Come and Take a Ride with Me. There's no way that song existed without Bone, paving the way for that.
Yeah, I do say there was influences for sure behind that one.
Did you know anybody
that think about it?
When I Tried came out, there's so many people I met that thought it was Bone featuring Nelly. They thought Wishbone was Nelly.
Wow.
I Tried.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, they probably weren't legit fans, or they probably just heard it like, is that Nelly? No.
Which one, Shane, is your what out of the 5? Which one is your all-time favorite Bone member?
I would gravitate more towards, I think, Crazy Bone. Yeah. With Busy Bone second, Lazy third. It's just different, man, because every day you could wake up and feel like I got to put on Law of Attraction, or I feel like I got to play one of the Fix tapes, or something different. Right. Every day is a different feeling. But if Wishbone came out with a solo, man, I think I couldn't pick. I would have to bang all 5 of their solo albums because every day is different. I think each one of them have a different CD and a different feeling for whatever you're going through at that moment. Like you could pop in that CD, go to song 12, and bam. You know what I mean? Like you could feel that, or you feel the other CD. So yeah, it's always different.
Why do you think Wish has never dropped that solo? Do you think he's worried about selling units, or do you think he just can't put together like a project? What do you think? Because I think we know as Bone fans, like anything they put out will do at least moderately successful. I think a Wish solo, it's not going to be Thug Mentality 99, but I think it will do good. What do you think it is that's stopping him from, for 25 years, not giving us that Wishbone solo?
I think I don't want to say like the pressure of putting out a studio album, but personally, I might feel like it was a project he didn't want to take on. Maybe I can't speak for him, but that's the feeling I get from it.
Yeah. And now he's almost waited too long now. Like, it was like he should have safely put it out years ago. Now all the other guys have put out a lot of solos, set some really great solo bars. It's like, now it's kind of late to
did we miss the boat on that one? Or that's one of those kind of things. Now if we do it at this point.
I don't know, maybe that might be the final trick up their sleeve that Bone has. Like, if they ever wanted to bring back the excitement. They got that Wishbone thing in their back pocket if they ever need it. It's like the nuke.
Man, I'm surprised with all the millionaires in this world. Nobody's thrown some money at Wish and been like, "Hey, here, you want to do it, man?" Because I know if I had some millions in my pocket, I'd be like, "Man, well, what's it gonna take? What's up?"
What's the project that you and I have talked about? If you had the money in your pocket, you know, that you got. What's the dream project that bookofThugs.com would like to see go down?
Well, I have been talking about it with a few people, and whether we do crowdfunding or we do, you know, personal, we all come together personally, doing maybe a little five, you know, an EP, a 5-track album, and throwing maybe 4 singles in there, 5 if Wish would do one, and then maybe 1 or 2 tracks from the group as a whole, and just maybe. My ideal plan would be just to give it to the fans, put it up for a free download on the website. It depends, you know, how much money actually goes into creating a project like that, whether we sell it for $5 a download or, you know, something like that, just to make it reasonable for everybody. But just to get some new content out there too, and you know, keep pushing Bone, because I know Bone themselves, I'm pretty sure, would be putting content out there and putting it on iTunes left and right, you know, if it was something that simple for them. But
they definitely got the catalog. I mean,
yeah, man, I don't know. I can't picture how they're not, you know, creating, unless it's like a rights issue, you know, who owns what kind of thing. But man, their internet, they could be doing what DJ Unique did and throwing so many little random things together with just stuff we would love to hear. Or even, you know, if it's just a new track, go bang out 1 track and put it on iTunes for $2 or something.
Now
let me ask, do you trade with other collectors?
Yeah.
Or
do you have any cool trade stories? Have you picked up anything kind of cool in a trade you didn't expect?
One time I caught a lot. I paid, I think, $200 for it. It was a bunch of CDs in there. I think it was from somebody on the Facebook BTNH. I think I got like 7 CDs for $200, and they were all sealed. They were like for bud smokers only. The DJ Ice mixtape, the Lost Files. Oh man, there was a bunch of them in there that when I got it, I was just like, holy shit.
And you said they were all
sealed when you got them?
Yeah, all of them except for the DJ I believe.
Do you think that's the best deal that you've got on like a Bone item, or like what's the best deal you've got on like a really high priced item that you wouldn't usually get that cheap?
I would say that was that right there, because I probably paid $200 for maybe if I put them all up individually, probably close to $1,000, and maybe $700 or so. It kind of depends on what the ball, you know, what the field goes at that time. But yeah, I'd say close to $700 for all of them.
I think we should be in a race to make a website, the Bone Exchange, if that doesn't already exist.
That's my idea, is put a selling link on my website as well. So if anybody has something that's, you know, on the list, or you know, they can select from what they might have that I'm interested in and put their quality of the sleeve and everything on there and sell it to me.
Do you feel like the trading and collecting of physical units is still gonna continue? Like, you know, even you said, hey, I'm going towards digital. We're in such a digital revolution. Do you think we're always gonna have people that want those CDs, especially Bone fans? Do you feel that's always going to be the standard, or is that slowly phasing out to the point that you don't think people will want to collect like this in like 5 years, 10 years?
As far as Bone fans, I think we all will always want the physical copies, but I think we won't have a choice when it phases out and, you know, the market just goes all digital. I mean, I have my own idea for where the market is going, and I don't know who to talk to exactly, but I have an idea if that might replace CDs and everything like that. So it'll be interesting in the future to see definitely where we go with how we distribute our content and phasing out the CDs.
What about theoretical albums like Hell's Movie? How does that get categorized into your whole
Hell's
thing?
Movie, That goes into the fan-made selection. That was
Then what
never
about-
officially endorsed by him.
Yeah,
Right.
Never endorsed, but I always let me tell you why I always co-sign Hell's Movie over any of the other ones. Hell's Movie came at a time where the market wasn't as saturated with all this fake shit. And Hell's Movie, if anybody ever got a real copy, and when I say real, I'm saying that in quotes, so don't beat me up in the comments, guys. But if anybody ever got the
say I purchased a real copy of it, but I can't tell you for sure. I don't know myself.
Yeah, the ones that actually got, and they were bootlegs, Busy didn't do them, but somebody did a really good job bootlegging it, and it was your only way to get all of those songs. And it's gotta be the most, I can't think of a Bone Thugs bootleg that they just absolutely have shit to do with, that's technically not even real, that has been more successful and more important in Bone Thugs culture than Hell's Movie. I mean, we're talking, Heaven's Movie came out in 98. We're now in 2018. Hell's Movie is still a topic on Bone Thug fans, tongues.
Did we ever find out who made it? Who put that out there? It's like, who killed JFK? Who put Hell's Movie out there? Does anybody know?
Great question.
Because it's
Probably
like the
just
most
a member on the board back in the day.
They had to have had some
guess.
insider access.
That's my guess. It had to have been
the
a
other
Bone
one that
member.
I had a really hard time getting my hands on was a fan made was Unheard Harmony. I think it was a two-disc somebody made with all the unreleased files back then, and that one was a bitch to get my hands on just for the artwork. I mean, I could find the download on the internet, but didn't have the artwork and everything that someone made with it. I think that one for just the fan made album, I think I paid $60 for that one.
Did you ever listen to a fan made album and not know it? Because it happened to me. I was like on track 3 before I realized it was recycled verses. It was like someone had made a bunch of beats and put like really rare verses on top of it, and I'm like 3 tracks in before I'm like, oh wait a minute, something sounds off here.
No, I keep everything kind of pretty well categorized as far as like in my car with the media and everything. I don't even think I have any fan made albums uploaded to my like playlist or anything like that. So I don't really pay attention to them unless they're like awesome remixes that someone made, or if it's just recycled material. I think I have it all on the actual rips rather than. I think there's just a few off of like Hell's Movie that we don't have CDQ or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, the majority of these fan mades, we ended up getting most of the files in CD quality.
With as many rare items out there, something that I've talked to you a little bit about. Can you just briefly touch on Bone Thugs E99 Eternal, the fucking clean version, and just talk about what that is for anybody that may not know, because that was, over 10 years ago, that was the staple item to own, almost even, equal to Faces of Death back then. Can you just kind of talk about that and why you think a clean version of all things is such a fucking grand jewel for bone collectors?
Yeah, I think it was the jewel because it only got released to so many radio stations before it was quickly pulled, and I think they made them send them back even. Then ones who didn't send it back, man, those are the gems out there that we're trying to get our hands on. The vinyl, I think, was pretty well mass produced. I mean, it's still hard to get your hands on it, but now today I think there's quite a few copies out there for sale, just different grades.
For the vinyl.
For the vinyl. The CD though, that's the impossible find right there that I think got pulled so quickly that everybody's trying to get their hands on it now for the last 20 years or so. That's one of the most difficult finds out there.
Yeah, and because it's clean, and when you said they made them give it back, I think the thing with that was they're all clean versions, but if you compare the fucking clean version, and And again, for any fans that don't know, it's fucking clean, Eazy-E style, PHUKKIN, fucking clean version. It featured Mo Murda and shots to the double Glock, which are not actually on the clean version of Eternal. And that would be my guess why they had to give it back, because you can clean that up.
Also,
You can dress it up, but you can't take it out.
Did that court case get started at about the same time that they pulled it and then re-released it?
Which court case? Tell us about the court case.
Remember when Bone was being called in for that guy who said he listened to Mo Murder so many times?
Yeah.
That possibly could have been a motive behind it. I really don't know though. But that's what I would generally just think off the top of my head, that played a factor in it.
That's the jewel to me. Even today, I mean, is that still and I've told you before, Shane, I'm kind of removed from the collecting piece. Is that still kind of like the jewel to you?
Yeah, that might be the gem right there, that clean version. Man, one that I really want to get my hands on. Oh, man. Right now, I really want to get my hands on the new Dynasty CD from Crazy Bone.
I don't even know if I know about that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was it's called the New Dynasty mixtape. I think it was right before they kicked off the Life, and I want to say it was Thugline. I'm not exactly sure, but it just has Wish and Crazy Bone on the cover. It's kind of orange and reddish. That's a rare one where I believe it was only pressed in a CDR.
So then, what would you estimate? Because this does exist. I don't know if you saw the Bone Enterprise video I had put out there, but K-Chill owns, well, because it was recorded at his house, the original Bone Enterprise recording on DAT. Like, he's got the original, very first, one and only, it's one of a kind, the Bone Enterprise original recording. And if
like
we had to put a
copy?
price on, the master copy, because he said it was recorded at his house. So what would you estimate the price of that one of a kind, the very first Bone recording that we know of all time? What would you price that at?
Man, so the vinyls, so say like a brand new vinyl of Faces of Death is roughly $300-400. So I would have to say a master would go for $3,000, $4,000 maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what when we were talking to him, I think he priced it at something like that, because it is the he showed us the pictures, and it is the digital audio tape of this situation. So, that
would be like the Holy Grail right there.
Yeah.
Right. And that's K-Chill. K-Chill's got that. So,
man, one of these days I might come at him for that. I would have to see.
Hey, if you decide to do that, we'll hook that up. K-Chill's a great guy that we've talked to, and I think that I do think that he's someone that you two should probably definitely talk, because he probably would love you and what you're doing. So we got a line up with the Book of Thugs with K-Chill. And before we start to wind down here, we had so many questions, for you. So a couple I want to make sure that we get in here, especially about the collecting, because we got a lot of collectors. Like you said, we're not the only collectors, and you're not the only collector out there. Do you have any advice for a Bone fan that's just starting their collections? Bone's one of these groups that gets new fans every fucking year. They're similar to KISS and ICP and these groups that have these mega fans. Do you got any advice for a new fan collecting, and what's the best way to get that going?
Oh man, my secret is, which really isn't a secret, it's kind of common sense, but you would definitely check your sources like eBay, DiscoGs, Amazon, even Google searches, because you'll find little random websites that you have never heard of in your life that have a copy that someone posted for sale on there. And it's a gamble whether you're going to get it or not. But if you're going to, so say like I found Thug Stories double disc for $7, where I turn around and can sell it for maybe $40 or $50 just because it's the Best Buy exclusive isn't really available too much anymore. You can find deals like that. It's just a gamble whether you're going to get them or not. But definitely do your research, because man, you'll look on one website where it's $200 and you'll find another website for 50. You know, but yeah, it's a hard process just to look for one CD because you can look through maybe 20 Google pages before you find the link you're looking for. Even it's so far dated back. You know, it's a process when you're searching for stuff. But I hope with my website that I put a lot of copies or even the cheapest route to buy something that is available. Definitely posted, whether you're looking for the vinyl, CD, whatever. That each release, so say like a cassette, will have the link to go buy that cassette with the cheapest route that I can find it, which may become outdated.
I think it's really cool that you're down for the community the way you are. You know, it's been such a thing in bone culture that you collect something and then it's like, haha, I have this. I'm not going to let anybody hear it or see it or touch it, but just motherfuckers know that I have it. And I love that your approach is, I'm collecting this because I want everybody to have it, because collecting in bone has been a very selfish thing for many years. Do you have anything that you've kept to yourself that's just yours, or have you pretty much shared your entire collection?
I think I've shared pretty much everything at this point. I maybe have a couple of tracks that I haven't been allowed to give out or something like that. But as far as CDs that I own, I think there's maybe just like a couple of tracks on like a DJ Ice CD that aren't on YouTube or anything like that. But they may have been heard already, but you know, they're just not out there anymore. So I have a bunch of those that I plan to upload every CD that I can in full length to YouTube without really getting punished for it by Bone. So I got to do some research on what might, you know, is no longer available for purchase, even on iTunes or whatever. But I do plan to put some of that stuff out there if I can. That's awesome. I love that. My goal is just not to piss off Bone.
Yeah. Probably piss the fans off first, and then they'll tell Bone. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
right.
there used to be like a set of rules on btnhboard.com of like what was acceptable, what wasn't, and I just wish the Life Apparel store. I'll see if I find it. We'll get it to you. I don't know if that forum is still up. It's like it's kind of hard to find. It's still there, but we'll see. But they did have the list of what was acceptable and what wasn't. It was really for what you could post on the forum itself.
But I think the current Facebook group has that too, but it's imaginary, and we kind of don't know what it is right now until they get back to you and pull your post. You know,
I got a question that me and John. I said this to John earlier. I go, I'm gonna throw a question at him to see what his decision would be. So it's a decision question. In a complete scenario world for you, Shane, Tamika Wright comes to you and says, hey, I'll give you one of these two, and then the other one I'm going to burn and it will not exist again. You can either have the entire Art of War pre-release album released in CD quality, or I'll give you Mr. Bill Collector with Eazy-E in poor phone quality. And whatever one you pick, the other one's going to get destroyed. Which one would you pick?
I would definitely go for the Art of War because there's another copy of that Eazy-E out there somewhere.
Eazy-E. That clip is so good. What do you think of that clip?
Oh man, that clip was hard for me to really tell. You know, I hope that's not the quality that's out there, but man, I put a post out there. I'm searching for the person who's selling that Eazy-E. So my choice would have to be I'd go with Art of War. Man, I think I have a rip that is from an actual copy, but it isn't, you know, by my standards. I haven't touched it and done it myself, so it doesn't work for me. But a friend did hook me up with a legit copy of it, which my track listing is different than the one on it's different than the one on thatpiff.com.
Wow. I would love. I'm such a fan of the Art of War. I think it's my favorite of all the Bone albums, and I'll save why for a different time. But it's got to be my favorite, and I loved the pre-releases because it felt like you were getting all these and let me tell you, at the time, like now I hate that they're not CDQ, but I even loved at the time that you could tell that it was from a tape and that someone probably recorded this and snuck it out in their fucking pocket. I absolutely, you know, just love all the different versions. What do you think about that? You know, the versions that they intended versus the ones that Tamika ended up having mixed and put out and became the final Art of War.
Yeah, I think she killed it with the Art of War as far as whatever calls she made on that. It was great. I don't think changing it or doing anything different to it would make it the same as what it is today. But I think that's what makes that snippet CD or the pre-release just so much more special. You know, it's things that didn't make the cut or, you know, weren't good enough or whatever the case may be. That just adds to the rarity of it. But I think she made a great call on that, man. She did it great on that.
Because, you know, a lot of Bone fans would debate that with you, that Tamika fucked it up. You know, that the way that Bone intended, right, the way that Bone intended is really the way it should have gone. But hey, you know, I'm pretty sure it was her call to make Thug Love a group song.
Well, did we ever hear officially what Bone intended for the Art of War?
No, it's so weird the way nobody really talks about that. It feels like they've been in court with Ruthless for like 25 years, and there's just been a 25-year gag order.
Isn't it Lil Eazy-E now that's in court with Tamika?
Yes, sir. Lil Eazy in court with Tamika over the NWA name, the Ruthless Records name. He owns a company called Ruthless Records Inc., which is not Ruthless Records, and they are battling back and forth on that. Tamika Wright, of course, owning Ruthless Records, NWA, and anything else attached to it.
I think it's a step now that Bone is finally, from what I've read, that they've actually been in communication with her recently. I'm not sure if that links into DJ Unique at all, but I've read that he's also in contact with Bone, starting up some projects this year.
I have told you about this. I have an unreleased Busy Bone verse from a song, and at the end of the song, he shouts out Ruthless. My understanding is he's in a really good place with Tamika, and they're all in a good place with Ruthless. I wonder if the NWA movie, helped bring them there, but I do hear that Bone is in a pretty good place with Tamika and Ruthless.
Yeah, just after that Ruthless song, where I think Busy was the one who shouted her out. That kind of marked it for me that things are starting to go well again. Hopefully.
Did somebody actually? Yeah, did somebody buy that East 1999 Eternal Legend, that $1 million album? Did that ever happen? And if so,
I don't think they ever did that. Yeah, they decided. I think the Wu-Tang thing. I think they saw what happened with the Wu-Tang thing and said, we need to get the fuck away from this.
Well, I think it was all the backlash they got from the fans online, and I think there was a lot of hating going on over that one, where the fans felt like they were backstabbed.
I mean, I think I can see that to a point. You know, you got loyal 25-year fans. It's all about if it would have been done right. You know, no fan wanted to know that there was this Jewel CD we were not going to hear. If one guy could have bought it and put it out to us, so in other words, Bone said, hey, we want our $1 million up front, and then you take it and you put it out.
That would have been one thing.
Bone would have fucking put up a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe and said, hey, if we hit $1 million, we're going to put this shit out there for y'all. That would have been a better route. I personally would have felt better with that than saying, hey, there's a millionaire overseas somewhere that's just going to listen to it and then throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. It is, you know,
a CD like that's so tricky though, because you know, it's like, what are you going to put on it? Are you going to put the whole collection, and then who owns that whole collection, and who's going to come back at you for doing that? And because isn't that what Wu-Tang is going through? Is they didn't authorize it, so now it's being disputed or something like that.
It's such a fucking mess for Wu-Tang, that you got to be grateful as Bone fans that, you know, that they didn't do it, because we as fans, we already faced too much with ownership. John and I talked about it during the Mo Thugs interview. Who the fuck even owns some of this shit? I don't even think Bone knows. And I think that's why you see so many bootlegs, because it's like, if you're lazy, if you're crazy, if you're busy, if you're any of these guys, you're not sitting back enjoying that, you know. And these guys definitely know that these shitty bootlegs exist. They're not sitting back just saying, hey, fuck it. They're in a position where they don't have control over that shit, except at least not yet. Busy's camp is working really hard at getting him control over what should be his, and who knows, Shane, I think you could probably play a big piece in this as well with the Bone camp and helping them get things in order, because I think 25 years, hundreds of songs, you probably forget that there's shit that you even did. Crazy Bone said he forgot recording Riding Dirty.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Tell John, what's the details on that story? He recorded that kind of early on.
Yeah, Crazy said he just was in Texas one day, and I guess the people he was with said, hey, you got to go record with this guy, Chamillionaire. He's a local guy here. And he recorded it like 3 years prior to the release, forgot all about it, and then received a phone call saying that, hey, this is nominated for a Grammy. And then they ended up winning, and he had to, but prior to that happening, he went out there to shoot the music video. So imagine that. Imagine winning a Grammy off of something you forgot you even did.
Yeah, I know those guys smoke a lot of weed too, so it's easy for me to forget where I left my keys sometimes. So yeah, I can definitely see how that happens.
Now a Wishbone solo album aside, now that Chasing the Devil has come out, and now that New Waves has come out, like that felt like that was never going to happen, and now that it's happened, there's this like strange closure, but it's not. It's like it still feels like there's something missing. Can you put your finger on it? I mean, how do you feel about that? Where we're at now?
To me, these days, it's missing that DJ Unique vibe.
Yes.
I think Bone had a long journey without him, but the beats and just the production and, his vision for everything, I think really put Bone together. And when they strayed away from it, we could definitely tell when they went with like Swiss Beats and just random producers or, recording labels. Like it really shows, because BTNH Resurrection compared to, Bone for Life, or not Bone for Life, but, something that he didn't produce, even Strength and Loyalty, there's a heavy vibe there that isn't the same anymore.
Right. I would argue that Strength and Loyalty was their chance. The reason why I feel like the new Bone Thugs album, Crazy and Busy, hasn't been received as well as it could have been is, if you're a fan, if it does feel like it came out, out of left field, the style change, but we do know back during Strength and Loyalty that they kind of switched it up a little, and they didn't fully commit to that. If they would have fully committed to that, who knows? That's what we would have had the last 11 fucking years, and this Bone Thugs project would have been received, perfectly. But like you said, there was such a variation there. Still good. I love Strength and Loyalty.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not eternal.
Yeah, it doesn't have that same vibe that you were expecting from Bone. It's rough.
Do you think that kind of? Do you think that record helped kind of jumpstart them though? I mean, because Thug World Order was the last really real thing, and then we got Bone for Life, and Thug Stories was good, but it went way under the radar. Strength and Loyalty seemed to like give them the shock to the chest and bring them back. I mean, I met people at that time that thought I Tried was like the first fucking Bone song. Like that is the crossroads to some fucking fans is I Tried.
Yeah, I never perceived it as that. Honestly, I think when Strength and Loyalty came out, that was a point in time when I kind of fell off of the internet and music, and I was just listening to what I had at that point. But I don't think I caught that one as soon as it came out. I think it was like a year or two later I caught that one, because we didn't have internet access, computer, or anything for quite a while, to 8 years there. But so within the last few years, I've just been kind of catching up and listening to everything, or the odd tracks that I didn't hear in between. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really think that did a whole hell of a lot for him as far as commercially or but it definitely got them out there with the video. I mean, I think that's the only thing that it really did for them.
A movie came out of it. I did a dissertation on it on the BTNH board on Facebook. I got to look it up. I haven't read it in a while, but I was just trying to point out, because like a lot of Bone fans don't have good feelings about it. But I'm like, man, you don't understand. Without Strength and Loyalty, I don't think they'd even still be around like that. I mean, they'd still be around, but it wouldn't be like Strength and Loyalty to me revamped everything, because it brought in an entire new fan base, gave it that new blood. And just working with Swizz Beatz gave them opportunities, especially Crazy Bone, to work with a lot of big name artists, and they got to rebrand themselves as rappers.
Bone got a lot of shit for working with Swizz Beatz. I know, because back when they did that album, a lot of people weren't fucking with Swizz Beatz. I know personally, when I try to play it around my friends, they'd be like, "Who?" Like they hear Swizz Beatz or his name get dropped, and be like, "Man, that shit garbage, bro. Turn that shit off." And I'd be like, it's a Bone song, but they'd be like, bro, I don't fuck with Swizz Beatz and shit like that. I'd be like, shit, I don't know what the heat is or the hate, but people, I don't know why it wasn't just like local here. It was on the internet. People weren't fucking with Swizz, and I didn't really understand. And I still don't, because I never really looked into it or gave a shit. But yeah, that was crazy to me. I didn't really understand all that.
I still got to defend the project and shout out Crazy Bone. My understanding of the story is at that time in their career, Bone in general was kind of laying low. Crazy Bone got a solo deal with Swizz Beatz, and that's how we saw him land on the Untouchable remix with Tupac, with the Notorious Thugs remix, Spit Your Game with Biggie. And if you paid attention to those, it was just Crazy Bone. Crazy Bone made them bill those features as featuring Bone Thugs and Harmony, because he felt like it's more important to push the Bone thing. Crazy pushed Swizz Beatz to sign the whole group. I always thought that was such a selfless move on his behalf, and I think that really helped, bring them back in a lot of ways. But like you said, it wasn't DJ Unique. The next thing we saw was Unified with DJ, and that was a lot of the production. Did you feel like Unified, with as much DJ Unique as we saw on it, it's 60 to 70% Unique, did that set the Bone standard again, or was it kind of lacking compared to their previous collaborations? Well, when I say Unified, I'm talking about the World's Enemy. The World's Enemy Unified. Yeah, no, the actual album itself, the final thing that they came down to, Unique handled a lot of the production on it. It wasn't all him. We saw a little Thin C, LT Hutton was on there.
Yeah, that was a solid album with Meet Me in the Sky and See Me Shine and things like that. And you
feel good about those type of songs. Those feel more like Bone.
Those kind of came out in a time when we didn't have much new content from them, I think, and I think those kind of reopened the doors to hearing them flow, like over modern beats and stuff like that. I think it kind of brought hope back for me. Hearing that they're keeping up with times, and and they still got it. They ain't lost it. Probably never will.
Yeah, it was an exciting time too. Flesh was newly out of jail. They were doing the think tanks with the fans and getting so much fan input. That was an exciting time to be a Bone fan. I heard you saying something, John.
Yeah, well, I'll just throw Death of Autotune as well in that time. But I was just wondering if Shane's seen the photograph of Crazy Bone with that collection of unreleased Crazy Bone albums that he hasn't put out yet. It's like a bunch of tapes and CDRs. It's so much. It's like a mountain of it. And like I'm just thinking, right when you finalize this collection, Crazy's gonna dump that whole thing on us, and
I'd
we
bet
back to
they'll
ground
give me
one.
a whole new set of CDs to work with. That'd be my luck. But I'd take it for sure.
We gotta find that photo. I saw looking at that photo. I felt ill because I was like, "Oh my god, there's so much more."
Yeah, it's sad because we listen to these CDs and it's like, wow, that may be the next song that got me through the next struggle or through whatever I'm going through. It's like, damn, that hurts.
Do you ever
to hear that?
Do you ever watch those streams that Crazy Bone does, where he puts out he lets you hear all these unreleased songs and just teases you for a couple hours?
No, I've never tuned into his Pyroscope before. I've never downloaded that app, but I do watch Busy Bone from time to time. It's just I'm usually at work or something when those come on, and I miss them, and I'm not exactly sure if they do replays or you can go back and watch it later, like you do on Facebook.
Yeah.
A lot of people upload them to YouTube and
That's
shit
my
like that.
plan as well. When I started doing that, but I couldn't get the archive to go back far enough to download all of them and then upload them to YouTube. But that is something I have in mind of doing if I can find somebody with a collection of these videos.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to know is the music videos themselves, like not the DVDs, not the VHSs, but like I've been trying to catalog, not actually have them, but just catalog every music video that they've ever done as solo artists or as features or as a group, and that itself is daunting because I keep finding new things every time I sit down to do it. I find like all this new stuff, and I wind up forgetting what I was trying to do, and I start watching a bunch of old videos that I never knew about.
Yep.
So is that part of what you're doing?
Yeah, I create a list to throw all the music videos or little odd clips into certain folders and then go back to them later. But yeah, that's something I'm going to put up as well. All the music videos, everything I can get my hands on. But they have so many. But I don't think there's more than 100 of them. I don't believe.
No, there's more. There's over 100. I'll send you my list after tomorrow or whenever I get the chance. I got like 116. Yeah. And it's nowhere near complete because the features, I don't even think I started on the features.
So, oh wow. But then collectively I bet there's a shit ton of them.
And we know that real quick, that the Art of War what got you started. Is that also your favorite album, and what's your favorite Bone song? I mean, just to get that one out of the way for the fans.
To today, my favorite CD would happen to be Streets Most Wanted from Crazy Bone. Mm-hmm. That is one I can't quit playing right now. As a Bone album, I would have to say The Art of War. That's probably one of the best CDs to me.
And song, what's your favorite song? Individual track?
That's a tough one. Oh shit! Strictly for My Grind is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love that one.
Good.
So good. That probably tops my list right there.
That one puts my mind in such a place whenever that comes on. Like I just feel right. I feel like I'm floating.
I got that East 99 feeling to it. It takes me back.
Yeah.
I'm going over the and I'm so surprised we got through so many of the questions in this interview, but I see a couple that are just lingering, so I'm gonna just get them out here because I wanted to make sure they asked. First, do you think that lazy releasing, like the re-release of Faces of Death, did that hurt that CD? It used to be worth so much. I see the price of it's kind of dropped. Do you think that hurt that CD, or do you just kind of view it as, hey, it's the 4th or 5th edition of it, it's still not, a 1995 edition?
Yeah, I think the only good behind re-releasing that CD was we got the slow motion and explicit content.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Other as a bonus track, but other than that, I don't see any good behind doing that, or other than a money move. I don't know if that's what it was or not, but I don't really see any reason to release that. But man, he did give us that explicit content on there, which really made that rebuying that CD for the 4th time worth it.
I'll say too. I don't know if Bones ever made any money off Faces of Death. I have no idea if they ever have. So I will say I thought it was kind of nice to finally see Bone make some money there, because I specifically remember Stony Brook saying, and this is from a John story. They were like, hey, this is how we're going to recoup our money from Bone. Now that they've blown up, we own this record. We're going to put this out. So it was kind of nice to see Bone finally start to cash in a little bit, I guess, on
man, Bone's is cashing in so much these days. I mean, it doesn't cost much. I mean, I did it myself. I used to do music and mastering, so I know it doesn't cost much to get a studio up and running in-home and mix and master it right then and there and push it out. You can get studio quality at home these days. It's just dumping a few $1,000s into it, a good microphone, maybe a sound card converter, for your computer or whatever, but some good programs. And Bone could do this all themselves. They can cut out the record labels, the studios and everything, and make music, pretty cheap and still push it on iTunes and wherever the market goes in the future.
And that's what I was trying to say with Strength and Loyalty, was that it brought so many new fans in. And what the average person doesn't think of is when there's a new Bone fan, like that becomes a hardcore Bone fan, they then could potentially have to buy 190 albums, right? So it's a windfall if they could just get every time they bring in one new fan, it's not just one album. If they're a hardcore fan, they're going to go back and spend thousands of dollars to catch up, to get the whole story.
Yeah, and Bone themselves, it's hard to say. They probably don't have a collection of these CDs anymore, but man, that'd be awesome if they had a spot where they're, like my website, for instance, that just sell them all in one spot and you can find everything.
Yeah. Yep. In fact, imagine if you could work a deal with the Life Apparel store. I've never been to the store. I don't even know if it's still open, but they should have a section that just has at least one copy of everything, in addition to I don't know how much space. Is it? Do they sell tapes? Do they sell albums in the store?
I think they're probably selling, like Kane and the Fixed Tape, probably whatever's available on their website, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, yeah, because they'd have to. Yeah, okay. Well, man, imagine a store with everything.
I've heard from Kane too. Like, it takes a long time just to get an album put online. It's just to get them to sell it on the internet. Like, I'm not sure what the process is exactly, but as a web designer, it takes me 30 minutes and boom, I'm selling your CD on the internet, So I don't really understand what some of the holdup is, because they may have content that they're just waiting on, just to get someone around to code in or edit in their website. I don't exactly know, but yeah, I would love to help out in that field and get shit moving, because it's their internet. Their whole thing is a mess, just from Wikipedia to Discogs to you name it. Nothing's really complete.
Yeah, I'm just gonna announce here, because this just happened while we've been on the interview, guys. But I'm just gonna put it out here that Soulja Boy, former Mo Thug Soulja Boy, has officially agreed to be a guest on Beyond the Harmony as soon as we set up a date. So this all just happened since we've been on. Speaking with Shane about bookofthugs.com, Soulja Boy agreed to be a Beyond the Harmony guest. So
wow.
Something to look forward to.
Dang.
Shane, let me ask before we wrap up with you here. Is there anything else that you want to get out to the Bone fans or the Bone community, or even Bone Thugs? Because chances are at some point, someone from Bone Thugs is hearing pieces of this interview. Is there anything that you want to get out there that isn't out there, or that we didn't cover in this?
Man, I think it's just to the fans. I think we have a lot of new exciting content that's going to be coming our way with them teaming back up with DJ Unique. I think we may be getting ready for like a new wave of content coming our way that would just be awesome for everybody that loves Bone so much as we do, to get some new shit from them and get that good vibe back. It may not be East 99 or Art of War, but it'll be something similar, I think. Man, but and then as far as it goes to Bone, yeah, I'm working on this website, and I think when they see it, they're gonna not be able to pass it up. It'll just be so complete on each and every one of them, and everybody that they've ever affiliated with, like officially, that they'll just be like, wow, shit, I put the time and the time is what's taken the project so long. It's to research everything. But man, yeah, hopefully it can become their official platform for their content, selling content, tours, news, everything in between.
That's beautiful.
Tamika Wright is still standing there. She's still got the deal. She says, "Hey Shane, I'll either give you Mr. Bill Collector with Eazy-E, or I'll let you hear Thugs in Harmony. Which one do you pick?"
Would it be like a separate release, Thugs in Harmony?
It would be the elusive, unheard of Thugs in Harmony that has been, for so many years we've heard them talk about this Thugs in Harmony track that no one's actually heard.
Oh, okay. It's one track versus a whole CD.
One track, either Mr. Bill Collector with Eazy-E or completely unheard. And Busy Bone was actually just talking about this Thugs in Harmony track on a live stream recently. So it's like one of these elusive creatures that we've never even heard a clip of.
Oh. Yeah, I think I'd have to go with that new one. Not that I'm not a fan of Eazy-E or anything. It's just I can wait on that. I don't feel like I need that one right now because we already have a different version of it that was official. That just getting the one with Eazy-E would just be like something extra at this point for me. I would really want to hear what I haven't heard before as far as just the group.
I keep bringing up this Eazy-E thing to lead into this. The rumor is that Mr. Bill Collector exists with Eazy-E on it, and last I heard somebody wanted $2,000. Now, when Busy Bone has talked about this, Busy Bone said that they were upset, and we all know the story about Bone. They were at the mansion. Eazy-E's sick. They have no idea. They're causing chaos at this fucking mansion. They're 1 foot to fame, 1 foot back in the fucking hood, and Eazy-E's featured on Mr. Bill Collector, and they're pissed off, and they erase Eazy-E out of their anger. Busy Bone goes back to Cleveland. DJ Unique, I believe, told the story just as it got erased, but Busy Bone later on, told us, hey, we were mad. So even to Bone, this doesn't exist. If it's really out there and somebody really has it, we don't feel like Bone would put up $2,000 to have one more track with their fucking, the guy that made it possible. I mean, Eazy-E is a historic legend feature or, image in Bone. We don't think that they would put up the money to get their fucking hands on something that they might have got rid of themselves.
I would have to say that somebody has a copy around somewhere that they just haven't said anything, to be able to pass something up like that they may be able to have the chance to have back in their hands, and just right. $2,000, that's nothing compared to making big money out here. But
they want to be careful, or Big Kaz will put that fucking $2,000 up and own that song.
yeah, exactly, man. I've been searching for that person that I said I'd put up $2,000 for it, but I can't find the person, and nobody's coming forward for it. I mean, it wouldn't be right now where I'd want to research this and meet this person in person, probably even, But someday down the road, when the funds are there, I'd definitely put up the $2,000 to buy that track and give it out to everybody.
The clip I heard was so good that, to me as an Eazy-E fan, it's noted that Eazy-E got a lot of help writing verses and shit. When you listen to that, it definitely sounds like we got a little Bone influence. There's been rumors before that Bone wrote for Eazy-E. In fact, what's the track that everyone, I believe Busy Bone raps a verse that was intended for Eazy-E, and I can't think of the name of the track. But Busy has 2 verses, and one of them he raps like Busy Bone, and one of them he raps like he was fucking Eazy-E, and I think he even says something about being Eazy-E. So it sounded like Bone had a lot of influence on Eazy at that time.
Probably did, yeah. He just met the cats, and they were fresh in the game. The young blood.
Is Bass in
John,
Trouble? Did Bass in Trouble ever like? Did Busy ever record that, or was it just something he had written? Because that's supposedly Busy Bone's first, performance was Bass in Trouble.
Oh, like pre Band-Aid Boys and shit.
Yeah,
yeah.
But it's unheard though. I don't think anybody's ever had a copy of it.
Because I did ask him about it. I asked him about it in the hotel, and I can't remember what he told me what his name was, and I forgot that too. It was like MC Chill B or something. I know people were gonna be like, "Oh, how did you forget that?" But he mentioned it, and I think it was just 2 songs. Because I was like, "Is it 2 albums?" And he said, "No, it was 2 songs. One was rap, one was R&B." I can't remember if he recorded it or not. But
I've heard a lot about that though. I just never heard about there being a copy of it.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody had can you imagine if somebody had a camcorder recording any of the Band-Aid Boys performances?
Man, that'd have been awesome to have that footage.
I'll tell you when and I'm gonna save getting too far into the K Chill stuff, but when I originally talked to K Chill, he had told me that the Band-Aid Boys wasn't as long term as what it sounds like to everybody. And that was kind of like when they talk about the talent show, the Band-Aid Boys kind of like was for the talent show, and then it was like, let's get fucking serious about this, and that's how we had them turn into like Bone Enterprise. And he said there were other groups, so I look forward to us really finding out. With K-Chill, we're about to find out a lot of great information about the Faces of Death era, so that'll be a great interview coming up. John, do you got anything else for Shane from bookofthugs.com?
No, I just want to say I'm so glad we finally got to chat. I think you'd make an excellent podcast of your own. You got an excellent presence, lots to say, mastery of the subject matter. And I wanted to say this was when I first, like I said, when you first commented on one of the things I had said, I checked out, like I said, the website. I checked out when you had the Facebook page up, and I'm like, man, this guy knows how to do it. And it's a beautiful thing to just get to spend this time with you right now. And I'm looking forward to us building this whole network of Bone fans and helping you get this whole collection going. This is just a great thing that all of us are participating in. And man, just thanks for being on the show.
Hell yeah, it's always love, man. Thank you for having me on the show. I had a great time talking with y'all tonight. Thank you very much.
And I'm going to say, y'all can find Shane, bookofthugs.com. It brings you to his Facebook. He's also on YouTube. He is also on Instagram, all under Book of Thugs. Is that right, Shane?
Yeah, it's either Book of Thugs or Book of Thugs Official.
So you can connect up with him in any way. If you're a Bone fan, if you're a Bone collector, you want to check out his page. Get in touch with him. We're going to put up all kinds of links in the description on how you can reach Shane as well. So once again, that's bookofthugs.com. Shane, I want to thank you for coming on, and you're officially our first guest on Beyond the Harmony. And I look forward to bringing you back on. I agree with John. You got a great presence, so I really look forward to what our next interview is going to be with you.
Hell yeah, anytime y'all want, I'm always available, man.
Hell yeah. Once again, we want to thank you for coming on, Shane. bookofthugs.com. Been a big episode. You're going to see us, we're going to record a lot of things on this, and we're not going to give it to you all at once. I know a lot of people are expecting this week that we're going to drop the second part of Mo Thugs, and instead you're going to be hearing this. So we're going to spread the content out. So everyone relax. You're going to hear everything that we record. I promise you, we're not going to hold anything back. If there's things that you want to hear, there's interviews that you want, if there's content you want to talk about, if you're a fan and you got something interesting to talk about, contact us. I would do a podcast with a fan. You're down to do that, John?
Absolutely. And just to build on what you're saying, this journey is going to evolve. So if it looks like we're going in one direction and suddenly we go in another direction, it's because new things have come to light and we're just going where the journey takes us. So just thank you for being along for that journey.
Yeah, and make sure you're in touch with us, of course, Our YouTube is the most important place. That's where you're going to get all the brand new content. But I'm very active on our Facebook page. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. It's all at Beyond the Harmony, except for Twitter. Twitter, they didn't let enough characters, so we're Beyond the Harmony. Instead of the, it's DA, Beyond the Harmony on Twitter. Link up with us. We got a brand new website we're going to release soon. And make sure that you subscribe and you comment. Next month, we're going to be giving away some free bone shit, and we're going to do it every single month. So I'm looking forward to do that. All you got to do is subscribe, comment on the fucking videos. We got some great interviews coming. I feel great about this episode. What an awesome interview. Shane, bookofthugs.com. He has a great story, man.
He does, and make sure you guys show him some love when you see him show up on the boards, because he's always offering some interesting insight. And I mean, as far as I know, he's doing the biggest thing I've seen a bone collector do. I know many have tried, but I don't know if they've done it to this level. So just show Shane some love and help him out in his journey as we try to get a wrap on this whole thing.
And Shane does a fucking giveaway too, just so y'all know. And this month he's giving away a copy of the whole album, DJ Unique, Ghetto Street Pharmacist. It was I believe a second or third edition. He's giving that away absolutely free. You just got to like his page and comment on the fucking post. And he's actually picking a winner on that in 5 days. So that's at bookofthugs.com. You can do that. That was this week's interview. And that was this week's episode. Johnny, we got anything else?
No, I'm just so happy this episode happened, and it was a great show. And I'm looking forward to the next one. I think it's with who? Capone?
The next interview we're gonna do, and I don't know when this will air, guys. We're gonna do a lot of interviews. You're gonna know that we're gonna record them, but they may not all be released as soon as we do it. But the next interview that we're gonna do is Capone. He goes by Capone Bone now, from Mo Thugs, Mo Thugs 3. He was featured on Money on the Wood from the El Burner project. He was on that bonus track. So we're gonna have Capone on next. He's a hot ticket in terms of like online. I think a lot of people know his presence, and I don't know if he's ever had an opportunity like this to speak about his Mo Thugs Bone experience. So that's going to be a great interview as well. I'll tell you, I'll leak them to you. We got Capone coming up, and we got K-Chill coming up, which is huge. And you guys should see the fucking list of the guys and girls just waiting for us to set a date up. Lippy, you know this list. Is this fucking list amazing for 5 days into this project?
It's it's beyond, at least me as a Bone fan, the wildest imaginations that I mean, it's all coming together so fast, so quickly, and we're just 5 days in, so I can't imagine what we're going to be looking at a couple months down the road.
Yeah, unbelievable. And it's everything, again, from artists to community members to the guys that help contribute the artwork that set the foundation for fucking Bone. It's an amazing cast, so I look forward to doing it. Again, I am Big Tune, aka Cecil West. This is Jonathan Lippy. Make sure you're following us on YouTube, on Facebook, beyondtheharmony.com. Shout out to bookofthugs.com. That's this week's Bone Thugs Thursday, and we will see you next week.